There we go. Do you know what? I need to do my usual thing where I check what episode we're up to. We're up to 186 will be the new episode.
Oof.
Um, yeah.
106 episodes in 6 years, and I was ready to cancel the podcast after 6 months because I just couldn't think of what to do. And now we're near enough 6 years down the line, and I still have more energy. And I think it's just because I get to talk to you two, and I think it gets more energy that I'm like, oh, I don't have to sit on my own with a long ass script. I can just chat these guys' ear off and we'll see where it goes.
On the subject of scripts, I still haven't finished my Shadows review. I don't know. I think that says everything I need to say about the game. I mean, I've got such mixed feelings that I just don't know how to finish it and whether to record it or not. It's bad, isn't it? Oh well.
I'd be interested to hear that.
That's life.
Okay. I'm going to use a horrible footballing analogy. Are you a
God.
football fan, Chris?
Not really, no.
No, me neither. But let me use neither of you, Declan, are you, right?
No.
So we're three Brits and none of us like football. Okay.
Yeah.
Soccer. For our American listeners. Right. Shadows is a game of two halves. Right. There's the horrible footballing analogy. The main story I think is good. I don't know that it's great or stunning, but I think it's good. I like how it's structured in terms of prologue. Then we have Now Way, we have flashbacks to early life, depending on what we do. I like how Yasuke is reintroduced, and you get the big event, the big historical event where they meet each other again. The actual hunting down of the targets is fine. It's not. I don't know that it's amazing, but what I really liked about it was how they really tried to make these kind of scripted story missions. So you'd switch characters at certain points. The bit I liked the best was, and it was one of the early missions, but the animus wall is right around the castle. You need to solve this problem within the sandbox. You know, you can't just run away and start again. I really liked how it kind of restricted your action and made you think and process it. I really enjoyed Yasuke's story. I really enjoyed finding out his backstory. I found Naoe's backstory to be frustrating and
Alright.
just disappointing, and it just feels unfinished. I feel like Yasuke's story felt very complete and emotionally satisfying, and Naoe's, I'm really sorry to say it, good strong opening, good strong middle, but at the end I just thought it's waiting for a DLC, and I don't know how I
Yeah.
feel about that. And then the other half of the game is the sort of open world stuff, and I think technically it's stunning. The seasons, the dynamic world, all the little touches, you know, and how that impacts gameplay. You can go prone through long grass in the summer. All the stuff about like icicles falling off of the roofs in the winter. You can't use the same approach all the time, and I think that's amazing. The destructible environments are amazing. The lighting is amazing. It's the little things like you swing your Kusarigama around in the autumn and it'll whip up leaves around you and things. I think it's amazing, but you've got this amazing technical achievement, but the actual world to me is a bit boring. The towns don't really feel very different to me. I think back to Valhalla and Odyssey in particular, those two. Different towns had really different feelings, different vibes, different color schemes. They had a main theme about them, and it all feels a bit same in Japan. And the open world events themselves, I mean, I know we've discussed this in the chat, but I really hate Yasuke's kata events. And I didn't particularly enjoy the horse archery events either. And nowadays, things like catching not the parkour pages, that's from Valhalla and Black Flag. The what was it, lost notes in the temples? That was just so bland. So I wish that the open world had more interest, more visual interest, maybe, and just more interesting activities. So that's my thought. Good in parts, not very good in other parts. So yeah, I guess, you know what? There's my script. I'm done. I'm just going to snip that and upload it and say there's my review done.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I feel pretty much kind of the same way as you, except I think I probably like the game a little bit more. I definitely I agree with you about Nawi's story. It starts strong, middle strong, and then kind of just peters off at the end. And yeah, you're right. They're definitely going to be filling out her story and DLC, and
Yeah.
probably for years to come. Um, I actually think that if they could have, they would have delayed this game again. If they really could have,
Oh, that's
because
interesting.
it already, what was it, twice it get delayed?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've just got this feeling that they aimed to, they aimed for too soon when they first announced it. And then, yeah, it just snowballed from there. And like I said, I feel like if they could have, they definitely would have, but obviously they couldn't with everything that's going on with Ubisoft and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So, but I mean, I'm still not very active on social media, but I'm on it and I'm listening and I'm watching, and pretty much the biggest complaints I've seen about Shadows has been cutscenes.
Oh my God. I didn't even mention that. I've got to say, right, I spoke for a couple of minutes there, and it sounds like I'm really down on this game. I'm not. I really enjoyed the main story. Like my first 50 hours was kind of main story, main story, main story, and I really enjoyed that. I don't think it's the best story we've had in a game, but I think it's good. I do mean good. Thing is, when you say good, people think that's a bad thing. No, I genuinely mean it. I thought it was good, but I just don't think it was as good as other parts of other games we've had in the series. But man, the cuts are fucking hell. All
But don't
these
you think,
years. What the
right? So
fuck?
a lot of people are saying that like they don't understand why they couldn't do mocap for the whole game because obviously there's other games that do it with much smaller budgets and stuff like that. But I
Mm.
think is it not just because there is two protagonists and you can pretty much play the whole game as either or, so that would mean the mocap double the
Maybe,
game. Do you know what I mean?
maybe.
So I mean I feel like I obviously don't know how games are made. I don't know how much that would cost, but I feel like that was probably a bridge too far for Ubisoft. You know what I mean? To be like, okay, let's mocap the whole thing twice.
I have thoughts there, but Declan, you go on, mate.
I have, I think I have an idea of why they've done it, and I've used this analogy a lot in Discord, and no one's really pulled me up to explain my analogy, so I think it's a good job we're talking here. But I think the whole mocap problem is, again, Ubisoft have doubled down on AC as live service, and it's created what I call the MMO effect. And what I mean by that is a lot of MMOs, when they release with a bulk of the story and a bulk of the content, but the entire world will feel bland and boring and repetitive until new content is released. So by the time they cut all ties to the game, Shadows will be the best game since they started because it'll have all the content. So when you think about the mocap, they couldn't really mocap the story, and then if they're going to do free content, mocap it again and again. I think for Ubisoft, what they're doing is they're drip feeding content for Naoe, Yasuke in the world, and it's just easier not to mocap. If they're going to have this game lasting 2, 3 years, there is no point mocapping every single new story scene. So instead of giving people's expectations to mocap an entire story and then the mocap to peter off with any live service productions to do at the end, it's easy just to give people no mocap, and then people aren't going to complain when the first story drops, and all of a sudden you've gone from a mocap heavy environment to suddenly no mocap because more than likely the voice actors are just going to get called into a recording booth to drop a few lines and then sent on the way, and then Ubisoft drops like a 10 hour, no, probably about a 2 hour mission for you to complete, and then in 6 months you'll get another 2 hours. So it's a lot cheaper for them just to have the voice actors in the booth to drop the lines, do a little bit of animation, and then just ship it out for free. This the problem is with Shadows is it's a game designed to operate at a loss than it is to operate at a win because all the free content they're going to be dropping is enough to, well, probably become like a huge paid DLC in the future, but they're willing to drop all this stuff for free, especially the special collaborations they've hinted at, they're going to cost some sort of licensing fee, and they're willing to drop it for free. So I think if they can cut corners wherever possible, just to cover the loss they're going to make with all the free content, probably just the best bet. And I'm not trying to knock the game because I think it's my favorite AC in the past few years, but I am fed up of live servicey type games that feel empty. And I know this isn't Assassin's Creed, but the biggest one was Throne and Liberty, released last year. It's an MMO. And for the first few months, there was a lot of content. And then they released their first three big story content soon as Shadows dropped, which was kind of cool. But then after you've done everything, you're left with nothing except repeatable tasks. And all you're now doing is waiting for the next story content to drop to come back into it. And you just think, well, if I'm paying 70 quid for Shadows, why do I need that sort of MMO feeling where I'm chasing the next DLC and just waiting to come back in? Why can't I just have the complete package like Odyssey and then story that just is an epilogue instead of just leaving the story in a cliffhanger to then fill out later on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes back to focus. What do you want the game to be? Narrative, strong, consistent experience for players, or live service? I fucking hate live service games. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've got no interest in them at all. I had a couple of thoughts there, Declan, you were talking. So you mentioned if they're doing story drops, and they've said it could be several years of story drops, chapters, whatever you want to call it. How do they how do they keep bringing the actors back? Well, the answer is they do what they did with Clair Obscur, or with A Plague Tale, Innocence and Requiem, or I'm sure lots of other games. The actors in the volume are not the actors' voices you hear. So there are actors that record the physical performance, and then the voice cast they record later, and they match their voice to the performances done on the volume. So there are ways to do it. That doesn't mean you have to bring in 30 voice actors from around the world, every 6 months or whatever to record story stuff. My main gripe with the character animations is that there's multiple levels of quality. So there's the full performance capture stuff, which has looked great in Ubisoft games for years. I did a long Unity stream a couple of months ago, and just seeing Unity again, and to be fair, it applies to Syndicate, it applies to the older games as well. They're absolutely stunning scenes. They're cinematic. You see every piece of acting, every piece of character development in the physical performance and in the verbal performance. Think about Clair Obscur that Declan and I are just obsessed with. That game does so much storytelling just through the placement of the camera in the scene and where the actors are standing. And you lose all of that when you just go for a camera, B camera, static animated scene. So my frustration with Shadows is this: I observed, maybe I don't know if I'm right here, right? This is just my observation. There's the full mocap scene that look great. There's this sort of auto animated, or whatever the solution is, some sort of, I think they have a solution where they can say at this point in the dialogue the character is angry, frustrated, happy, and it'll animate the face and the body to match that emotion. So you've got that kind of auto animated setup. But then in Shadows, there appears to be sometimes like this, I don't know how to put it, dog shit level animation where, and the first time I heard it, and this actually, I want to mention this because this annoys me because so you remember Act 1 opens up, Naoe recovers in that sort of deserted temple with Junjiro and the old guy, the monk whose name I can't remember. So you walk out and you're there and you're in this stunning world and you start to explore. Do you remember how along the road you'll find little interactable conversations, like someone needs help or someone's being attacked, and you help them, and then they'll say, "Can I help you? Can I share some intelligence about the region or whatever?" So you get these little pop up. I guess they're like dynamic moments. I got one of those within 30 minutes of starting Naoe's story. And the way that Naoe's voice is in that story, and I played with the English dub, so that's with the Japanese actress Masumi. I don't want to say it's AI, but it sounded like AI because it was almost like they'd they'd created her line of dialogue, which was, "How can I help you?" or whatever. It was so harsh. It was so wooden that it was almost like they'd taken the words from different audio recordings and sliced it together.
Oh god.
And I just thought, first of all, that pisses me off because it's so obviously bad, but it pisses me off because it cheapens the performance of the actor. And a lot of, and I don't expect those little dynamic things to have like a full, you know, sound stage with dozens of actors and lighting. Of course not. I'm happy with a piece of dialogue just says, like with Cassandra and Alexios. If you did those little timed quests, it would be, "What do you need? You need a Mystios, just a couple of lines, and then you do the quest. It takes you 2 minutes." I'm fine with it, but in Shadows, those, and there were a few others, they felt like they were no better than Valhalla's, and some of Valhalla's were dire. But what really fucked me off, I'm getting annoyed now, guys. What really fucked me off was within a single story scene that might be 60, 90, 2 minutes of dialogue, so multiple characters looking at each other, talking, moving around the scene. Within a single story scene, you would actually see it switching between those three levels of quality. Fully mocapped, and you can tell from the lighting, you can tell from the facial animations when it's mocapped, to the animated ones, which are okay, to the dog shit ones. And I get it. Every minute on the volume is expensive. I'm sure it costs thousands of dollars a day, hundreds of thousands, I don't know, hundreds of thousands a week. But it's a 2 minute scene. Just fucking mocap the whole thing. Because when the camera cuts and it's no longer the actors' faces with all the dots capturing every muscle movement in their eyebrows and their mouths, you can see it. It would actually be better to not do any mocapping at all, because if it was consistently a certain animation style, your brain, like it's like watching animation on the telly, your brain adapts to it because it's a consistent style, and actually you get the story from it. It's so variable. Like I say, it annoyed me that it was so variable within a single scene, and it kind of annoyed me that it ends up underselling the actors' performances. So there we are. I'm cross now. Thanks, guys. Thanks for that.
Sorry.
So yeah, do you know what? That was also in my review, which I've written and not
Can
not
you?
tried to
I
record.
don't suppose you remember what cutscene that was. The one that switched between all three.
I saw it multiple times, and I didn't record all my gameplay just because of disk space. I've still got about 300 or 400 gigs of recordings of different scenes, just some open world stuff, just to use as B-roll. But I won't be able to keep it forever. But I don't remember. But it was major, like main story.
Yeah.
This is important.
Definitely.
You want to deliver the scene. Yeah, please do. Because hey, look, maybe I'm an idiot and I didn't observe it right, but. Yeah,
no, I mean, if you can pick up that level of detail, I mean, I'm assuming you're definitely right about it. I mean, because half the time I'm watching the cutscenes, I'm like looking at my phone and all. So.
Oh, Chris. Oh no.
Well, I was like that when I was reviewing the game, because I was like trying to do a million things at once.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always start the same way. I start taking loads of notes. Then as the game goes on and I get more into it, I take less and less notes, and I'm more just like focused.
But yeah. I'm still on my second playthrough right now, and because my review playthrough was canon mode, so I'm going through it now, like non-canon and stuff, and doing the optional. What do you call it? What do you call them again?
The dynamic choices.
The choices,
Yeah.
Mine went completely blank there. So yeah, that's been interesting, but I'm not that far into it yet. So, like I said, there's still a lot of things that I'm waiting to see in it again for a second time, because I'm in the middle of writing this massive article about modern day and how it ties into this game and what I personally think is going to happen. But I was talking to Adam about this, like I need to get to a couple of certain points in the game again to see them for myself, just to make sure of a couple of things. But if what I think is true, oh my god. That's all I'm saying.
Can I admit a confession to you two? I haven't touched Shadows since I've completed it. because, and the reason for it is, and it's going to sound selfish, I got angry at Ubisoft's decision for a certain part of Nawe's quest that I've literally just stopped playing because I'm not happy with what they've done with Nawe. And that is when you do her epilogue, slight spoilers here, but who cares? It's been out for a month and a half now.
I'll put a spoiler warning on the video, and on the audio episode. It's fine.
One of her quests is to reconnect all the brotherhoods in Japan. And I was really excited because the first one you find a scroll that says, "Stay the blade from the flesh of the innocent." And the second one, you find the armor. And I was like, these are really cool. And then the third one I did on a path of knowledge was literally just a crest by a fire in the open with a little bit of a scroll. And I was like, okay, this could be a one off. So I did the second one, and there's 4 to do. So I got to the second one. And again, it was just a crest in a cave, well, like a little archway on a, in pretty much in just open ended, one of those parkour challenges. And I just said to myself, what's the effing point? And I'm trying to like mind my language, but Yasuke's epilogue was great. It kind of like jolted my AC memories and kind of gave me some knowledge. But now it was just like, oh look, I found another hidden ones place. Oh, let's go somewhere else. And then, as I mentioned in Discord, there's 2 areas in my map I've not explored, Timbre and something else. And everyone keeps telling me to explore them because they're pretty, and I get that. But there's no quest for that area. I've done the entire main game, a lot of the side stuff, and there is no quest except for this one brotherhood in Timbre. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell should I travel all the way from Yamato to Timbre just for one brotherhood that's going to be a crest by a fire in the middle of nowhere for no reason? It just really frustrated me that I just thought, you know what? I like the game, but I am not logging in every week to do 3 missions to get some little XP to get another snippet of the modern day that I actually love the modern day, and I love the hub, and I love Shadows, and I love Shadows' world, but I have short amount of time. I'm I've recently been diagnosed as autistic, so my brain already has a reason not to cooperate properly with simple tasks. So I don't have the brain power mentally to log in every week to remember to do 3 or 4 animus quests to get another tick on a box to get another modern day. Because if that's all I'm doing to like unlock the entire battle pass to get modern day, I'm going to get distracted by something else and forget what I'm doing. I'm very easily distracted with my brain. I'm not wired up properly to stay focused. So it's just kind of like tapered off that I have so many questions but feel like I'm never going to get the answer to it. And I just don't have the energy to replay the story, even though I love it and I think it's my favorite AC. I just don't have the point just to play another checkbox game. I just can't handle it. I want to go play some. I want to play Odyssey again.
I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, like I've not got the time either. Like I do not remember to log in every week to do these things either. Like there's just too much going on in life. Do you know what I mean? And you need to just do what I do. I just went on the Wikipedia and just read them all.
I will be doing that because
Now
I
that
had
is the
to,
pro
man.
gamer move.
I had to.
I did the maths, and I think it's going to take 2 weeks to unlock one memory fragment. Then that's from doing them every week. And I'm only halfway through the first battle pass and still another one to go. So in 6 months, I may complete the blooming modern day segments. By the time in 6 months, I probably would have done an entire playthrough of Odyssey again and probably completed it twice. Like, I just don't have the brain power in me just to keep logging in every week just for some basic go here, kill a guard, get some keys, checkbox, come back next week and do the same. It's just pointless. Even though I love it, and even though I love Shadows, I just don't have the mental power. Yeah, I shouldn't be very negative.
I have been doing the weekly quests just to give the opposite point because they are very, very fast. But I haven't read any of the stuff I've unlocked. I'm saving it all for the end. I know we chatted about this in Discord. I'm not that keen on the way this sort of modern day is being parceled out. So basically, I'm doing all the unlocks. I need one more week, and I'll have unlocked Yasuke's challenge, whatever it's called, the legacy, the project. I forget.
Mhm.
And then when it's done, I'll go back and read all the audio logs and text logs and try and make sense of it. But kind of want an early spoiler from Chris's theory.
So do I.
Well, I read. They're both really interesting, but I find the second one way more interesting.
Okay.
Um, I'm actually going to have to go and read it again just because I forgot most of it. But see, the thing was is that I believe that there's stuff in Shadows that hints at a few things, and then that's what happened to begin with. I'd seen something in the game, and that made me think, right, okay, I think I know where this is going now. And then I read all of those, put a couple of things together, went on back on the wiki to confirm a few things, and if, like I said, if it's what I think, my mind's kind of blown right now. Like I said, I don't really want to say much more because I'm in the middle of writing this massive article about it.
Okay.
But
What was the first thing that then started that train of thought? And then we'll save the rest for another time.
the thing that put me on the train of thought to begin with was, is it Kijiro? He's the guy that keeps showing up
Oh,
randomly,
yes.
and
Yes.
like I was seeing online that people think that he's a spirit. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like a whole other thing. Like that's not what I'm thinking about, right? So, but that's what started it all, and then I had to go back. No, sorry, was it that? Yeah, yeah, sorry, it was that. That's what made me think first, and then when I restarted my second playthrough, um, I got to um, the very first bit where you see the portal. Do you know what I'm talking about? And you leap
Yes.
into it.
Yes. Yeah. It's cool.
I got to the very first part of that, and then something else clicked, and I was like, right, this is just like almost too obvious. So
I'd say, I'll be honest,
it's
it's too
interesting.
obvious for me because I don't get it. I
Yeah,
haven't
well,
seen
obviously I'm
Shadow.
being very vague about it, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
obviously don't know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
definitely I'm excited to talk about it more. But like I said, I don't want to say anything else before I'm kind of 100% sure.
Got it.
So why don't we put a pin in it, and then we'll come back, and me and you will get some popcorn and just listen to this till the modern day because,
I'm looking forward to
Oh, it's going to be conspiracy theory number one.
like,
that.
I have a lot of thoughts on the modern day and a lot of theories, and I'm very excited for the modern day. And it really just annoys me that I can't get the courage up and the mentality to keep playing every week just to check them boxes off because with my new job starting, I've got so much I'm doing. I don't have many free times now that I'm just waiting for somebody to collect all the modern day together just so I can read it all. Because I'm never going to get all the modern day stuff done because I don't enjoy the animus tasks. I find them bland. Yeah, they're quick, but they're not for me. So I don't think I'll ever get Yasuke's battle pass done or Naoe's. I got halfway through Naoe's and I was like, I'm bored of this. I'll just go do something else. I'll go get lost in the trees again. Get lost in some woods.
When Chris is ready, he's going to give us a full breakdown,
Yeah.
which I'm looking forward to. So that's all good. Like I say, the actual quests are not that interesting. Although it's kind of funny, my muscle memory now is like fully tuned in on Clair Obscur, so I go back into Shadows to do the tournament, and I'm frigging mashing all the wrong buttons, nothing is working, and then I'm dying like an idiot. So that's quite funny. But yeah, I'm just going to save it up for when I've unlocked everything. Declan, you wanted to talk about post-launch stuff.
Yes. Post launch. Yeah, so Shadows has an interesting post launch. One that is annoying but also good. Um Now, where was it that I first saw this? Okay, so the one that I'm really wanting to discuss the most is special collaborations. And I think I figured out what the first special collaboration is.
Ooh, do tell.
And I think it's just stupid. Sorry, uh, but I'm gonna give you guys some hints to what I think the first special collaboration is. So on on the late roadmap for the late of May, it says parkour update, height gaining, back ejects, height gaining, side ejects, vertical ledge jump, and a photo mode update. So a collaboration next to parkour. There was a company that's known for extreme sports and parkour who did a promotion for Shadows before it launched.
Red Bull.
Yes, I think the
Mm.
first special collaboration will be a Red Bull collaboration with the parkour update. So I think the world is probably going to have like a parkour themed event that runs for the entire late May to June to get like Red Bull inspired gear for Naoe and Yasuke because
God.
it's what we need in Shadows. And then
Man, if it is that, that is really going to suck, and that's not going to go down well with the fans.
well, the thing is like
uh,
I've seen a lot of people talk about the um year one post launch, and this is what people haven't really been speaking about. Specifically the wording. They've not said it's post launch roadmap. They said year one. As someone who's played a lot of live service games, when you see the word year one, this is just the first of many. So
yeah.
the first one's going to have a story quest, two story drops, the DLC with more story drops, animus content, open world alarm system. All of the stuff they're bringing is great quality of life stuff for a game to keep going. But the idea of second one, two story drops before the DLC really kind of bugs me that they've done now a story or Yasuke's, and then they've just on purposely cut it just to package it later on.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really like annoying move because even with Valhalla having post launch content, you got the complete story at the end of Valhalla. It felt conclusive. So did Odyssey, and Odyssey had some really great post launch because then free story drops were fun, they were interesting, but you had a complete story. Shadows, you don't. And I think I did talk to a lot of people about Odyssey. A lot of people didn't do Odyssey's post launch because they'd already completed the story and there was no need to do it. Whereas with Shadows, they can market it as an ending to Nao's journey or an ending to Yasuke's journey to get more players to come back in. And I think that's a kind of a harsh tactic. And with the special collaborations that they're planning, I think the first one's Red Bull, and I think the next one they're going to do is probably based on the mobile game Reverse 1999, like a joint collaboration.
What was the name of that game?
Reverse 1999. It's a
Okay.
mobile game that's
Never
going to
heard
have
of it.
a special collaboration in August with Ubisoft to do two Assassin's Creed stories, Ezio and Cassandra and Alexios. And now, key word in there, special collaborations. It's what mobile games use when they're doing crossovers.
Right.
So we know that what Ubisoft is planning is just crossovers with other media to encourage hype in the game,
Okay.
which is weird.
One of the things that Declan said about he thought that a lot of the stuff was held back, was cut content basically,
Yeah.
to be held back for later. Well, I don't think a lot of it was, because I mean the parkour update, I don't think they were planning to do from the beginning. I think that's just something that they've decided to do after the fact. Although he is right in saying that there is cut content there, because there's proof of it with that first quest that just came out, because now that you can do that quest, it fills in a blank bit of the board that was already there.
Uh,
So that proves that that was specifically held back for this moment. So yeah, I was quite annoyed about that.
Okay, let me ask you a general question. How do you judge Shadows right now if it's not finished? Is it fair to judge it as it is right now and say I'm not happy with this and the other, or do you have to say fuck it, I'm not even going to talk about it until Ubisoft are done making it? I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I'm just surprised at the direction that they took with it because I mean everybody knew that there was going to be a roadmap. Everyone knew they were going to update the game for years to come,
Yeah.
but everyone expected the main story to be wrapped up in the main game and not to continue through DLC. That's the problem there. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I really don't get it why they decided to do that, unless they've got some big grand story to tell. But I don't know.
Like, personally, they can't have a grand story to tell because the two biggest questions left to answer, in my opinion, aren't really that interesting from a massive universe point of view, but are interesting from a personal point of view. But I thought they would have been answered at the end of the game, and then DLC or free stories would just be flesh out post game.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, the whole reason why the Templars created the Shinbaku has it's explained in Yasuke's epilogue, but there's still a lot more to be said. But you could have easily done that in a more missions, and the only question left for Naue is about her mother. And personally, I don't really think her mother, no offense, is going to be that impactful to the universe or everything to come. That's the only two questions I have left about the game is her mother and I forgot the guy's name, but the one that keeps stalking her father and pretending to be a mother. That creep.
Hanzo?
Hanzo, yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing it because I wanted to know how to get into this um Kofuku. Why? Just ask the man. Don't stand in the middle of nowhere and play this tune his dead wife knew because it's just creepy. And that's just all the things left to tell. I can't really see anything else to tell. I just want to know more about the Templars and why they're suddenly interested in Japan. And I also just want to know where the hell is Naoe's mother? That's all I care about. Like, you can't just give me this bombshell of she might not have died, but we're not going to tell you where she is. Because that just really irritated me.
Mm. On a positive note, I loved the stealth gameplay.
I
It
did
took
too.
me, I think we've lost Chris again. His video was frozen, so he probably can't hear what we're saying. I might just not snip this out and leave it in so it's a bit more, real. I think we've definitely lost Chris again. His video was frozen. Um, so I'm just going to keep talking. It took me a while to adapt to it because it is more challenging than some of the previous games. But I loved it. I really liked the tools. I really liked sort of the big set pieces. It was very satisfying to play using everything at your disposal to find the target, and clearing a castle was just really satisfying, going point to point, target to target. But yeah, I thought I'd just throw that positive bit in there.
Oh yeah, best part of the game.
Yeah, yeah,
Disagree, it's the tools. I love the tools.
I mean, the tools are part of the stealth.
That's true.
yeah.
To be honest, I like the combat. Like,
Yeah.
the lack of
I did.
stamina, the abilities themselves weren't overly convoluted. You only had 3 slots, so it wasn't like a huge part of it. And honestly, I will praise Shadows all day long for its stealth, its combat, and what they did for the main story. The only complaints I have about Shadows is just the epilogue and endgame. If I was to be honest, I just complain about them two because they feel incomplete. But from the start to the end of the Shinbaku, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time in Shadows. And I will happily praise it to the end of the earth because there's nothing more satisfying than dropping a smoke bomb and being able to double assassinate guards and then get into combat and it to feel fast, fluid, but also edge of your seat. Like a proper assassin fighting for survival. And then you can just get Yasuke who's just tanking it all the way through. And that's a nice feeling. That's praise that. Have all that praise.
What were your weapons of choice for Naoe and Yasuke?
Naoe Tanto and Katana, proper
Okay.
shinobi style weapons. Yasuke Katana and bow.
Okay. Chris?
Almost the same. For Nawe, I was straight up katana the whole time, and Tanto as well, so I could get that double assassination on the go.
Yeah.
And with Yasuke, it was just samurai sword and teppo. I used the bow a wee bit at the start, but I didn't really like it. And I usually like a bow, so
Yeah, I didn't find the bow that enjoyable. In fact, for a lot of the time as Yasuke, I was just katana only. I didn't have any ranged weapon. Then I unlocked an engraving, I can't remember where, that makes the Teppo silent. Like you've got a silent sniper rifle. So
yeah,
now I have a Teppo for the ranged and a
nice.
katana for melee. And for I'm impressed. I'm the only member of the team Kusarigama. But I fucking love that weapon. It does do a lot of damage. The katana does more damage, but swinging that chain around her head, that just never gets old. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I've been using it a little bit more in my second playthrough.
Mm.
So I'm enjoying it. It's a good laugh. It reminds me of the flail from Valhalla. I used to love that thing.
Oh yes, yes.
I I do want to share something cool about the Tanto though. And shout out for iCraig for mentioning this. But there's an open hand assassination move with the Tanto. And if you've
Yeah.
got guaranteed assassination on, it kills all bosses one hit. Now, because we're putting spoilers in, I can finally share one of the greatest moments in Shadows because of that move. So, in the last boss fight with, I forgot his name. Oh, it's the guy who betrayed Mitsuhide.
Yeah, he do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
you fight him, Mitsuhide, if you've got Naoe's adrenaline fully charged and you fight with Yasuke, when Naoe rolls over Yasuke's back, if you time it quickly and you do the open hand assassination, you get this flow that she's just coming in and air assassinating him off the back of Yasuke.
Nice.
And it just felt so badass that Yasuke's beating him to a pulp as a samurai, and now he's just vaulting over him and then just air one shot air assassinating him. And it was like, oh, that is the perfect ending to a boss. And I don't know, I think it just had this huge smile on my face that like it flowed really nicely and it felt
Mm,
so much like an
mm.
assassin combo that I was like, that's how you end a game. I was like, I want to do that again. That was pure joy.
On that note, we can recruit allies. I never used the allies, but why can't we call our buddy? Why can't Naoe call in Yasuke and Yasuke call in Naoe?
Oh, that was so cool.
I don't understand why that's not there. If they've already built the logic for the ally system and you've got the little they've allocated commands for it in the
There
controls.
is a rumor floating about that they're going to be a co-op mode.
Oh,
Obviously, who knows how true that is, but
What was the last
I,
game with
I
co-op?
could
Was it
totally see
Unity?
them doing it. Yeah, it was Unity. That's the only time it's ever had co-op.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is more of a just a story mode co-op
Mm.
where you and one of your friends, one of you plays Yasuke, one of you plays Naoe.
He's so cool.
I think that would be good.
now I think about it, that would be cool. One person can drop a smoke bomb while Yasuke does a bull rush. Just literally charging out of the smoke.
Yeah.
That's A, terrifying for the enemies, and B, so cool that I would have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it opens up so many gaming opportunities.
It does. It does. And here's the thought. The Some of the castle locations are fucking huge. There were several that took me 30 or 40 minutes to clear because I was trying to hunt the samurai daisho. I actually think there must have been a bug because sometimes I could have sworn they didn't all spawn in, so I
Oh
couldn't
no, there
complete.
was a bug
There
for
was a
that
bug.
specific game. It's just been
Okay,
fixed
right.
in the
Um,
latest patch.
the fact that the castles are so huge, they would be amazing co-op playgrounds.
Oh,
Yes.
You imagine like even if you put in some proper gamey, and I'm going back to like the fucking days of playing Quake 3, like capture the flag and other type missions.
oh,
But because they're such big playgrounds, you could really get plenty of players in there, and it wouldn't feel cramped. There'd be lots to do, lots to explore. Wouldn't it be cool if you could like score people's gameplay, like the number of times you got detected, or
hmm.
things like that would be amazing. Bring back Creed points. Anyway, yeah, just a thought. Sorry, I got a bit excited
No, I
there,
mean,
but
all that could definitely work, and
yeah,
I think they'd be kind of mad not to do something like that in
yeah,
an AC game. And this one's kind of built for it almost, with the two protagonists. So
feels like it.
To be honest,
yeah,
I would just love it if you could have one person fighting Yasuke and then another person being able to air assassinate any stragglers that are going around him. And that would just feel so satisfying that you've got your ally and it would feel natural to the story. And it would probably be the only AC game where I'd want to do co-op because it would just feel natural.
Mm.
And then you'll just never hear me shut up because I'm like, can I join someone's game, please? I'm
That's
Yasuke.
yeah, that's something that actually has been missing. I mean, it's been a while, but there was a couple of years where I was regularly doing Unity co-op, and it's that I can't remember what review. I think it was one of Yahtzee Crowshaw's reviews, and he said, the thing about multiplayer games is you're having fun with friends because it's nice to hang out with your friends, and the game sort of becomes secondary. But Ubisoft is missing out on a big part of just creating fun with this franchise. And we know that there's a multiplayer game in, well, we've rumored there's a
yeah.
multiplayer game in development, but why not? Oh, it'd be so cool. Did you guys have a preference as to who you tended to play as, Yasuke or Nawe, or just mix it up as you wanted to?
Most of the time I went Nawe, but that's just because I'm a stealth player at heart, and if I've got the choice, I'll always pick stealth. But I'm trying to pick Yasuke more in this second playthrough. But I mean, every bit of time that I spent with Yasuke, I thoroughly enjoyed. Do you know what I mean? And if I only had the option of Yasuke, I wouldn't be too bothered. Obviously, I would want him to be able to stealth and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, having the choice is not a bad thing.
Agreed. What about you, Declan? Did you have a preferred character?
No, I had a system in place. So if I was doing a castle and I was getting detected too much because I was messing up, I would say to myself, screw it, run out of the detection zone, switch to Yasuke, then bull rush in and just kick everyone the arse. Because he was literally my go-to for when I could not be bothered. When I was like 4 in the morning, insomnia session, can't sleep. I don't have time for stealth. Yasuke, come and help me out till I can get to sleep.
You know, you're actually like the fifth person I've heard say that about how Yasuke is their go-to guy for when they just can't be bothered.
he just feels,
And that's great, man.
he's just so natural for it. It's brilliant.
It's an
I
easy
can add
option.
another one to the list. I was the same. I was stealth first, and if I kept getting detected, or I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, like you, Declan, switch to Yasuke, literally smash in the front door and say, right, you guys have pissed me off, and now you're all gonna die.
Yeah, I think I did
Brilliant.
that. Was with, and I didn't realize it was a bug, but I couldn't get one of these samurai dio to spawn, and I haven't checked again. And no matter how hard I was stealthing now, way I couldn't find him. So I left the castle, went to Yasuke, and I was like, "Look, you've got a better chance at this. Just walk in and just find him." And I still couldn't find him, but Yasuke was just walking in scot free, just like, "Hiya, come at me, bro."
Yeah, I didn't actually know it was a bug until I'd just seen something about it the other day about how
Right,
it got patched. So
good to
yeah,
know.
because I never came across that issue when I was playing it. The whole time I played the game, and obviously we played it pre-patch, free first patch or whatever you want to call it. And honestly, I didn't have many issues at all.
I think the only one I had was what we just talked about, the die show, and there was quite a
Yeah.
few castles where I'd found 4 out of 5, and I killed everyone, and I would go onto every roof, eagle vision to scan the entire castle, and in those moments I was like, "Oh, Icaros, come back, please! I've missed you. I need you." Anyway, joking aside, I don't need a bird companion. It's fine. I think that's been done now. So
No,
yeah,
Yeah, I only miss it for pictures. That's it.
yes.
And I seen some because we were talking about it on Twitter a few weeks back, and someone said, "Aye, they should just give us an eagle companion, but it can't actually do anything, just so that we can get pictures and stuff." But yeah,
to be honest, now I think about it, I think I only had one other glitch, and it was my favorite bug, and it might have been patched, but there was a certain area in, I think it's Ashimore River, where if you were Yasuke and you tried to climb up on a rock, he would like get stuck in the rock and just float there, flapping his arms.
uh,
And if you press A enough, he'd just start bombing up and down like an eagle, and it just made me laugh. So I would on purposely stand in the rock and just mash A, just to see like Yasuke just bob up and down with his arms like a demented eagle. I am a simple person in these games.
So we've been talking for just over an hour. I will make a few edits because we've had a few audio glitches, but we should probably head towards wrapping it up. Final thoughts, Declan. You put together today's talking points, mate.
I think my final thoughts is that Shadows is a good game. I would say great game in my opinion. Just a great incomplete game. And I think Shadows will probably be at the height of Odyssey when all the roadmaps are complete, and that is when we'll get the true picture. But right now, Shadows is just an incomplete picture for such a phenomenal title that has potential. Just don't really do weird collaborations with Red Bull, please. I will pay you. I have 21p in my account. I will pay you.
Well, okay, being serious then, ignoring like large corporations that make sugary drinks. What game, personal choice, and it doesn't have to have any connection with Japan or Assassin's Creed, but what game would you like to see a collaboration with, and what would you want in that collaboration? Because the only one I can think of, and I probably missed ones from the earlier games, was Origins had a collaboration with Final Fantasy, I think.
yeah.
That was a good
That's the only one I
collaboration.
know of. But I don't. Yeah, it was long after I
Just
think it
a
all
weapon
happened.
set,
Long after.
5 minute quest.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
What would you guys want to see? What game would you choose? I know what Chris would choose. Sekiro.
No, actually, I wouldn't. But it's close, not close, but it's. I would like them to do a collaboration with Ghost of Yotai just to show solidarity. Because I know a lot of people like to pit those two games against each other.
Yep.
Well, mostly Ghost of Tsushima, but as soon as Yotai comes out, then that's going to be getting all the comparisons made.
Mm,
So yeah, no, I would like to see the devs do a conscious effort to bring the two games together in even just a small way.
fair enough. Declan, you got any thoughts?
A serious thought would be Prince of Persia. I always love the idea of Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia collabing, especially with the Lost Crown. I think the Lost Crown crossover with Shadows was really cool. As a Joe crossover, Power Wash Simulator.
How would that work?
Simple.
What, so like the hideout is really mucky after the winter. You've got to wash it down and sweep all the leaves away. And
Exactly.
okay.
Some...
Here's a thought. Why don't we have any legacy outfits? I mean, I don't tend to wear them other than to quickly try them on and go, that looks cool. Maybe that's why they know people don't really use them, so they haven't bothered making them. But I'm surprised there isn't a couple. I mean, a Xiaojun outfit, surely. You know.
I think the problem, and it was more commonly seen in AC3, is gender. Sometimes it's because there's two characters. A Xiaojun outfit would be great for Naue,
Yeah.
but trying to make a Shoujun outfit for Yasuke maybe a
We
bit.
just don't make it for Yasuke.
Yeah,
He gets a Connor outfit and now he doesn't. That's fine.
but this is
I don't know.
Ubisoft. They made a legacy outfit for AC3, and they decided to put Alexios's outfit in AC3 and call it a legacy outfit. When, in my
Yeah.
opinion, Alexios was not a character in Odyssey. He was the main villain. You can't have a legacy
Wow.
outfit and say the legacy outfit is Alexios the Mystios. No, because in canon law, it was Cassandra the Mystios, not Alexios. You can't give us a legacy outfit on Alexios and say,
It's just a game, bro. It's just a game.
And not only that, man, but Connor looks ridiculous with that hang on.
It's awful, isn't it? Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's a game, but I
So
think
funny.
it just it when they say legacy outfits, it's always been protagonists that have played the game. So it's always like Arno or Altair or Ezio or Edward Kenway. And then when you see a legacy outfit and it's Alexios, you're like, and it's next to Ezio's, you're like, that doesn't make sense. Ezio, yes, he was a character, but Alexios wasn't. He was the villain. So yeah, I'm
He
annoyed.
was still a playable character. I'm feeling argumentative tonight. He was still a playable character, mate.
Nitpicky, all right.
I know a lot of people are not going to be happy about that.
A lot of people. I mean, what,
Or the
2/3 of
Alexios
players
fans.
chose Alexios. So, yeah, sorry, mate. You're just wrong. How does
Cassandra
it
for the
feel?
win. Just put Connor in a dress, he'd be all right.
There is. Did you guys? I'm sure you've seen pictures of it because it was shared enough times. If you played Cassandra first, I think this is right, and you unlocked the Amazon legendary outfit, it was like a bronze breastplate over the breasts. Like
That is,
if
like,
you then
very
played as
Madonna.
Alexios, he would wear Cassandra's lady's outfit. It was quite funny.
I remember seeing pictures
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Well, time to bit of Odyssey. Replay it then. For science.
I'm replaying absolutely everything right now because I just got this PlayStation 5. So I'm
Right.
literally I'm going to platinum them all.
Nice. How does that work with the older games and multiplayer? Are those trophies like deleted so that you don't need to get them?
Well, basically, when it comes down to it, the only game now of the older games that's got online achievement or trophies, sorry, is 4.
Okay.
Because everything else is either remastered without the multiplayer in it,
Right.
or it's just 4, and then obviously you've got Unity, which has got co-op, which is kind of online. But I
Mm,
mean, I don't think I'm going to do 4. I think I'm just going to leave it because obviously rumors of AC4 remake. So
yeah.
we'll just wait for that. Do that one instead.
Very nice,
But
mate. Very nice. Should we have a quick 1 minute propaganda on Clair Obscur Expedition 33?
yeah. Go tell me more. I need more.
I never thought I would like a game with turn-based combat, and I never thought I would like a game that takes you half an hour to learn a boss's moves, and then when you fucking nail it, you feel like an absolute god.
Oh, that's that Dark Souls creeping into your
I
head.
am obsessed. There's one target which you see at different points. Declan will know this, called the mime.
Oh,
And it's kind of a joke set of side targets because all you do is unlock cosmetics like the bag. You might have seen the pictures online of the baguette outfit and stuff. So you fight the mime, you get a silly costume, but you also get some great music while you're fighting them. But hidden away, Declan, don't know if you found this, there is a chromatic mime. That's the one I sent to you, which took me about 15 minutes to beat. And he will one shot you. And I beat him with no damage and 231 parries. And I am quite proud of that as someone who does not consider himself a good gamer. But yeah, I am obsessed this game. And do you know what? With just the combat is incredible. The builds are amazing, but the story is one of the best I've seen. And on the point of cutscenes, they're all fully fucking motion captured and beautifully voiced and beautifully lit, and the way the cameras are placed and the actors move around. It's like it is. I know it's the joke, absolute cinema. It really is. So yeah, there we go. When you're ready, mate. When you've got a gap in your
Oh,
schedule,
trust me, I was already sold on it from the conversations that everyone's been having on Discord. Um, so I thought I'm going to get it next month,
Nice.
definitely,
I look forward to
because
what you just think
I'll have
about
a
like
bit
its
more time.
difficulty. Yeah, yeah.
I will.
So yeah,
I will admit this is going to sound very dark and morbid, so I do apologize if it upsets anybody. But I have no family. I'm. It's something I've talked about privately. I'm not going to share it here. So with having no family, I've never known what it feels like to lose somebody. So I've never felt that emotion. Yet in Clair Obscur, for the way the story is built, for the first time, I actually felt the proper emotion of what it's like lose somebody and the grief that comes after it, because you get invested in the characters. They feel like your friend, and just you know them inside out. You know the story, and their moments of grief are so unexpected and so left field. And the game is so magical, the story, that you feel the emotion. And I will admit, I cried a few times. And I've never felt those
Yeah.
emotions before because I've got no family, so I've never felt the sense of loss before. But the game actually does make you feel that grief and sadness, and it's wild to play a game where you're just literally there, like, I don't want to play. Tissues next to you, and I can't play anymore. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I
that's
see. That's the type of stuff that makes me want to play it even more. And like you, James, like I have zero interest in what do you call it, turn-based games.
Mm,
Never have been. Any turn-based game I've ever tried, I've hated.
yeah.
And there's some of them I've really wanted to like Baldur's Gate 3. I wanted to like that game so much,
Okay.
and I couldn't get through the first couple hours of it just because just the way it was, man, with
Mm.
the battles and stuff. But I've watched videos of Claire Obscur or whatever it's actually called. Don't know how to pronounce it. And yeah, I mean it looks really interesting. Obviously, it's not just your typical turn-based game. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot of
I'm really
timing.
interested.
There's QTEs for attack. You need very precise. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm playing it on story mode because I was playing on normal for probably the first 15 hours and I was enjoying the challenge. But what I realized was to finish this game at that mode, it would take me so much longer to get the timing right. So I'm playing it on story mode. It's hard enough. I'm still getting one shotted by some bosses and taking time to learn the moves. But for me, that's the right level of challenge. There's also an expert mode if you really want to test yourself.
no.
Um, but yeah, it's not just turn based. It keeps when they're doing their turns, there's still a lot of interactivity for you, and that just for me makes it amazing. And then you get into the abilities and the builds and skills. Oh, it's brilliant.
Don't worry, it's on the list and it will happen, and then I will debrief with you.
Yeah, we'll do it. Actually, let's do that in a couple of months. Whenever you've finished it,
Yeah.
we'll do an update because I reckon the amount. I mean, they've sold 2 million copies in 10 days, 2 weeks. Um, they're well into the realms of already making a profit. I wonder if they will look for DLC content expansions. Um, I bought the game on release day. I've had it in my wish list for about 6 months. Bought it on release day, and after I think the second day, I was having so much fun. I thought these guys need more money, so I bought the deluxe edition expansion. All it is outfits, but I thought, you know what, I want to give them another £10 because this is brilliant. Yeah, no regrets. I might even buy it on PlayStation and play it again on the console when I'm finished because it's just brilliant. And what I like about it is you can just dip in, do a couple of fights, and then you know you can then step away. You don't have to sit there for hours on the story if you don't want to. It's fantastic. Anyway,
Um,
sorry. Enough
on,
about that.
on the topic of DLC, James, the lead director, I think, has said the team don't have any inspiration for DLC at the moment because they feel the game's complete.
Fair enough.
They wanted to do what Baldur's Gate 3 did. Instead of just packaging a game and then shipping DLC, they wanted to give you everything at once and then focus on fine-tuning the experience.
Yeah.
So it's why they gave Mael a nerf, not to make her weaker, but to make her in line with other characters, because the stuff people were doing was absolute ridiculous. I think billions upon billions of damage with one of her
Yeah.
abilities.
Oh, that was the Stendhal ability,
Yeah.
which, I mean, my Mael is, sorry, Chris. My Mael is level 64, 130 Lumina. I can do 350,000 just on a counter with her. And with Stendhal, I can do 980,000 damage. It's bonkers. And this is after the nerf, so God knows what it was like before they nerfed it. I would have beaten Golgoroth by now if they hadn't nerfed it. Let's put it like that. But anyway, I'll
Apparently,
figure it out. I'll learn those patterns. I'm gonna get it. Don't worry. If it takes me a week, I will kill that boss.
Oh, that is the Dark Souls mindset coming.
yeah.
You fuckers!
And
I'm not gonna let them get me down. I did
That's
say
it,
to
you
you.
can turn-
I said to you last week, didn't I, Chris? Is this going to start my descent into like Sekiro level of parrying at some
can only
point?
hope.
Okay. Okay.
To be fair, I was like that when I got to the end game boss, which I won't say anymore because I don't want to spoil it for Chris. But you know what I'm about to talk about, James. The amount of tries I took to beat the boss, and I was like, I'm not
Yes.
giving in.
Yes.
I was like telling James, just like 21 tries, I'm not giving in. I would.
But you know what? I do think, right, and again, I've not played these kinds of games before, so maybe you guys can laugh at me, and that's fine. I don't know any player that could go up against one of these new bosses and beat them first time because you've got no idea what their moves are going to be, what their animations are going to be. You've almost got to die a few times because the boss that Declan's talking about, phase 1 is okay, and then phase 2, it's a completely different move set and nothing you've learned in the last 20 minutes. I mean, maybe there are just super skilled guys that, oh look, I can see the elbow moving, bang, parry, I'm there. But I doubt, I don't know if anyone could do it first time, personally.
No, I mean that is, you're describing basically all Dark Souls games and Souls-like games, man. That is exactly it. Like dying is part of the process. You have to die. You need to learn the move set to be able to kill them. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just really interesting to me because I don't understand how all that can be in a turn-based game. It just in my mind doesn't make sense. So I'm really intrigued to see
Mm,
how it all feels and plays out. Because like I said, I've watched a few videos, but not for long, and I didn't want to see too much of it before
yeah,
I went
yeah,
in there. So
yeah. The answer is it feels good.
Yep. And you've got to
really good to
prepare
hear
to
it.
laugh, cry, find a blanket in a dark
The
hole, and fall
dialogue,
over.
you're right, it's so witty. It's not just stupid jokes, it's really, really witty and smart. Oh, anyway, we've got to stop going on.
Chris is like, what have
Gentlemen,
I walked into?
I think it's time we left it there because I need to make a few edits. And I'll try and find some cool B-roll. Might take me a few days to do this one, but it's been a pleasure to chat again.
The ones who come before.
For those who come after.
Shh, I was trying to make it
I'm
an 18th
confused.
Prince.
Right, let's leave it there. Wait, where's the button to stop recording? Oh, there it is.